After only a week of living in the neighbourhood, our new neighbours seemed like any typical family. There was an elderly woman in a wheelchair, a quiet couple where the husband, an accountant, worked while the wife stayed home. They also had a 10-year-old boy they said they were homeschooling. Cassie, our sweet 6-year-old daughter, quickly grew fond of them. She would often visit their yard, talk with them, and even befriended the boy, playing with him and bringing him to our chicken coop and the veggies garden. When they weren't playing together, Cassie would carry around Elton, her beloved hen, yes, a strange name that Cassie confidently named it, treating the chicken like their playmate. The elderly woman adored Cassie and would smile whenever she saw her. Within a month or so, we were comfortable having the new neighbours around, even though strange rumours began to circulate. Friends warned us, saying that they have been frequently moving from places to places, and that there were whispers of occult-like practices surrounding the family. We brushed it off. It is 2024 after all. How could anyone believe such nonsense? Cassie and her mum had been running a fever all day, and I was up watching over them. As I stepped into the kitchen, ready to turn on the light, I heard an odd noise, a crumpling, sliding sound like something heavy dragging across the roof. The coop's chickens suddenly clucked in alarm. "A thief!" I thought, my pulse quickening. I rushed to check the CCTV feed. The kitchen roof looked clear, but when I switched to the coop view, my heart nearly stopped. There at the fence stood a massive black dog. It was unnaturally large. If it stood on two legs, it would tower over me. I darted to the nearest window, peering out into the darkness. Sure enough, the dog was still there, its eyes gleaming a strange marble-like yellow. It didn't move, just stared at the coop. For a moment, I considered scaring it away, but fear held me in place. Before I could act, the dog slowly turned its head toward me, locking its eerie gaze with mine. It saw me. It knew I was watching. For what felt like an eternity, we stared at each other, and then, without a sound, the creature melted back into the shadows. I quickly turned on the yard lights, but the CCTV showed nothing, no sign of the dog at all. In the following days, more unsettling news spread through the neighbourhood. Pets had been disappearing. Cats, dogs, even chickens were found brutally slaughtered. Some neighbours claimed to have seen a massive dog. Others described a human-like figure feasting on the animals. The memory of that night haunted me. Then, one afternoon, Cassie came running inside, her face pale. "Daddy, Elton is gone, I think they took him." I knelt down to her level, trying to stay calm. "Who took him, sweetheart?" "The neighbours," she said softly. "They said Elton looked delicious." "What do you mean?" I asked. "They stole Elton?" Cassie looked up at me, her eyes wide and innocent. "They told me they had to feed their family." I forced a smile, trying to hide my growing unease. "Oh, sweetheart, they're probably just playing with you. Maybe they're teasing, pretending they cooked Elton. I'm sure it's just a joke." "Let's go to the coop," I said, standing up. "We'll find Elton there." Cassie followed me out to the yard, her small hand clutching mine. But when we reached the coop, the sight that greeted us was far from reassuring. Feathers littered the ground, and the door hung slightly ajar. Inside, the coop was destroyed, blood splattered everywhere, bits of chicken scattered like some violent scene. Elton wasn't just missing. Every one of the animals was gone, devoured. I felt a cold dread settling in the pit of my stomach. "I'm going to check the CCTV, I told Cassie, trying to keep my voice calm. "You stay inside with your mum, okay?" Back in the house, I sat at the monitor, my hands shaking as I rewound the footage. What I saw sent a wave of nausea through me. The massive dog was back. Its hulking form loomed over the coop, tearing into the chickens with terrifying ease. But this time, it wasn't alone. Beside it, crawling on all fours, an old woman in a familiar knitted sweater. Her frail body moved unnaturally, like something out of a nightmare. She joined the dog, gnawing on the raw flesh of the chickens, blood dripping down her face. My breath caught in my throat as the camera panned slightly. Just outside the coop door, barely visible, was a wheelchair's wheel. I backed away from the monitor, horrified. I decided to confront them. As I approached their front door, the wife answered, her smile wide and welcoming. "Good morning. Is Cassie here to play again?" she asked, her voice smooth. "Oh, and Elton, such a dear thing," she purred. "He was a gift to us." I stepped back, fear creeping into my bones. "You demons!" Her eyes darkened, and in that moment her true nature flashed before me. Suddenly, the boy appeared behind her, his eyes glimmering with the same yellow as the dog's. "All the chickens were fine, but Elton was especially delicious," he said with a wicked grin. I fled, my heart racing, and as I glanced back, the whole family stood at the door, watching me. That night I locked every window, every door. I couldn't shake the looming dread, because what can happen again tonight? Like and follow here and there for more chilling stories like this. Part 2 soon.